Good morning, Laguna Woods. How you doing this morning? This is inspiration for today. You got your coffee? I know I had mine. I that's how my day starts very early. I don't know about you, but that's how I often start. And then I sit down and maybe read God's word for a while, talk to Him, get my day going. And I would suggest that's a great way to start your day. And then you're finished with all that. You can tune in at 7:30 for inspiration for today. Get a Bible verse because we always do that, and you can carry that verse through the day. Well, today's guest is Pat Alders. Tell me your
Albers.
last name, Pat.
Albers.
Albers.
Yes.
Albers. Yeah. Well, I've only known you for, well, I don't know, a few years or something, so I'll get it. I'm so bad. But I so appreciate you coming on. We have an important topic today.
Yes.
We really do.
Yes.
And because Pat's real involved with one of my favorite ministries anywhere, and it's called Grief Share. And we'll get into that in just a minute.
Yes.
But specifically, who is that ministry aimed at? Who is it to benefit?
It benefits anyone that has lost a spouse, a parent, a child, or someone that is important in your life. I lost my husband 3 years ago. It will be in February. I was struggling with it. And I had seen a counselor, and she says, "You live in Laguna Woods?" And I said, "Yes." She goes, "They have a fabulous program called Grief Share. I really think you should go." So I thought, I don't want to discuss my issues with a whole lot of people. But I went over to Clubhouse One, and I saw this paper posted, and it was about Grief Share, where it was and the time. So I had said a prayer and asked God, should I go? And once I saw that bulletin, I knew that was for me to go. So I went, and it was time for you to share if you want to. If you don't want to, you don't have to.
So, were you involved with a church at that time?
Yes.
Okay, but not Saddleback.
No.
Okay, so that makes it even a little bit more, in one sense, a little more threatening to go to
hmm
something that's not in your church.
But I'd heard from friends, and I heard some very good things
Yeah,
that I had seen on YouTube with Pastor Rick. And I really,
yeah.
even friends who live up near Bakersfield had told me about Pastor Rick. And so I felt comfortable enough to come, because I live in Laguna Woods, to
Yeah.
go to Grief Share.
Well, that's so cool, and I can tell you that. Well, we know. I brought that up because I know that some people might say, "Well, I don't go to that church."
hmm
You don't have to.
No.
You don't. And we have folks even who aren't even necessarily Christian, for
Right.
that matter.
hmm
But the support they get.
hmm
I don't want to go too much further. We'll come right back to this. But this is a verse that Pat gave me that is, I don't know if it's an official verse of Grief Share, but it's certainly what Grief Share encourages the people to do.
hmm
And it's in 1 Peter chapter 5 at verse 7. It says, "Cast all your anxiety on Him because He cares for you." And the Him, of course, is Jesus.
hmm
And that is great advice for every one of us today in Laguna Woods, because this is specific, and we're going to continue talking about specifically for those who have lost a spouse. However, all of us have cares.
hmm
And this is the answer. Give it to the Lord,
hmm
cast it on Him, have peace about it. He said, because He cares for you.
Mhm.
So thank you for that verse today.
Yes.
And that's a good one, I know, for your group. So right now, I think you're just it's the new year. We're in January.
Hmm.
Grief Share is just starting
Uh,
up again. And Pat, you meet once a week?
once
Is
a
that
week,
how it goes?
yes, generally 1:30 to 3:30. Uh, we're in a transition as to the day, and Frankie is our leader and always does such an excellent job. Generally, it runs around 13 weeks, and we have a video at the beginning, and then we break up in small groups, depending on what the loss may pertain to, either a
Is that
husband.
also by gender?
No.
No. Okay.
Interesting enough, there's always more women than men.
Well,
That
sadly, we
yes.
men go to heaven sooner, typically.
Well, surprisingly enough, I know that many of you know Joe Rainey.
Yeah.
He last time came to our support group. Frankie was just over the moon about it because we did have men who came but would
Sure.
leave before the discussion because they didn't want a woman to be the leader of the group. And now that Joe has volunteered his time, we have more men that are coming to the group and breaking off and having a discussion with him because they feel more comfortable in doing it that way.
I'm so glad that warms my heart.
Hmm.
I'm serious because I look if that's the Lord's plan in our life,
Right.
I don't know which me or my wife is going to go first.
Hmm.
But if it were to be her,
Hmm.
I would be first of all, I would go immediately to that group.
Hmm.
But I already know how good it
Right.
is and how many literally lots and lots of people who have been
Hmm.
helped. So I wouldn't hesitate. But I know I have the blessing of
Oh, yeah.
knowing
Right.
that. But having other men that I could share with would
Hmm.
be everything to me.
And
So anyway,
it
good.
just makes them more comfortable to be
Yeah.
able to relate to someone, especially a male.
Yeah. But
And
it works the same, Pat, for women.
oh, definitely.
You're glad you have a woman.
Oh, most definitely. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Eh,
So anyway, so a typical meet together, then break off in small groups. And
mhm.
how long does it last?
Well, the
Yeah.
video runs about a half hour. And then after that, we take a few minute break. And then we break up into our small groups.
Yeah.
And like I say, if you want to discuss or ask questions, you can. If you don't want to volunteer, you don't have to. Generally,
Yeah.
that's about an hour. And then about 15 minutes before we adjourn, we get back together. You may talk about what you want to relate to or what
Okay.
you want to discuss.
Yeah.
We say a prayer only if you wish to participate, and then we break up till the following week. We also have a workbook that you can purchase if you wish, which goes along with the video. And then there's work things that you can do during the week that relates back to what the video tells you to help you get through, only if you would like to do
Yeah.
the workbook.
Well, Pat, and I say this to the others who are involved in Grief Share too. I thank you. I
Hmm.
thank you on behalf of the many, many people that you help. But I know at the same time it's a help and comfort to you.
Oh, most
And
definitely.
and I just know that, you know, it's a terrible thing to lose a spouse.
Hmm.
And I haven't lost a spouse, but I've lost other very close loved
Hmm.
ones. And including, of course, my parents
Hmm.
and others. And it's not easy times.
No.
And but the Lord wants and does use His people
Hmm.
to encourage one another.
Right.
And this is one of those times in life that we absolutely need that.
Hmm.
Folks, get more information if you happen to be in that phase of life from us or call our church. God bless. Have a great day in the Lord, won't you?
Thank you.